Thank you for joining Section 4 of the WeatherTrack 2014 Spring Update. In this section, we'll discuss central management tools, or some of the newer additions to WeatherTrack.net that are designed to highlight your skills as a water manager and make communicating water management choices easy and efficient. The first tool that we want to discuss is the WeatherTrack Budget Manager. With the Budget Manager, we try to help our water managers with the common management issue of keeping their water use inside the confines of a water or fiscal budget. So, if you want to give your customer a report that shows how much they saved by switching to WeatherTrack in a year-over-year comparison, or you want to proactively manage your irrigation water use against a set allocation to ensure that you avoid costly penalties on your water bill, the WeatherTrack Budget Manager is the tool you need. As you can see from these examples that have been borrowed from our Budget Manager reports, this is a tool that will help our water managers speak to their customers by providing site-specific information, highlight where issues exist with the water budget summary, prove the accuracy and diligence of the reporting by providing actual usage per meter, and analyze water use history by comparing multiple metrics like water bills, budgets, or controller usage information to give a well-rounded perspective on water use for one site specifically or for an entire account of sites that each has their own unique water budgeting needs. To demonstrate a year-over-year comparison using the Budget Manager, we'll start here on the home page. Then go to our Water Manager tab and select the Budget Manager application. After choosing the proper controller that we want to look at, we dial in our two metrics, or the different ways that we want to look at our water consumption for this site. These metrics can be things like water bills, budgets that you set, or information directly from the controller, such as measured usage or estimated usage. Then, as we change these metrics, you can see we can compare year-over-year consumption or a year's consumption of water bills compared to a water budget that we had set for this site. We also have the option of changing the way that this information is displayed in either a line or bar graph. And as we move down the page, we see all of the information that it takes to support such a graph. Specifically, the information that we've programmed in for our budgets or our water bills, or the controller has measured for usage on this site. And at the bottom, we complete the picture by looking at site-specific information. The next central tool we want to highlight is called Scheduled Tasks. From the Manage page of your WeatherTrack.net account, you now have the ability to schedule one of two tasks, an event pause or a master valve override. The event pause feature will suspend all irrigation from any scheduled start time, so that if, for example, you're having a neighborhood picnic, you can be sure that your event is not interrupted by normally scheduled irrigation. Add to that the ability to schedule this event pause, and you could go into your WeatherTrack.net account today to schedule your event pause for your upcoming 4th of July picnic. In contrast, the master valve override feature will apply current to a normally open master valve and suspend all the WeatherTrack leak alerts, so that if your system has a normally closed master valve and your maintenance guy wants to connect a quick coupler and wash down the sidewalk, to accomplish this, he would go to the controller and program in a timed master valve override feature that would allow him to use that quick coupler for a set number of minutes before the master valve closed again. Add to that ability the ability to schedule this master valve override, and now you can schedule the controller on a recurring basis to turn on the master valve override feature between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. every morning, so that your maintenance guy can come out and do the job that he has to do without ever having to touch the WeatherTrack controller. As you can see in this example, we start on the Manage page of WeatherTrack.net and we select Schedule Event Pause. Then we type in the name of our event and the specifics of our event, like when we want the pause to start and when we want the pause to finish. We also program in whether this is a recurring event or not. Then, when we hit Save, that event will be scheduled and will execute at the time and date that we've programmed in. Another way to schedule the WeatherTrack to help provide more efficient water management is by using the new Scheduled Reports feature. This is a feature to have selected reports automatically generate and deliver directly to your inbox at the time that you request. This feature will be popular with all of you who asked me for an alert that would tell you each time someone had made a change to your controller settings, because who really wants 100 extra alerts in a day? Instead, I recommend that you subscribe to a multi-controller settings change analysis report and have a list of all of the changes that happen to all of your controllers delivered right to your inbox whenever you want them, so you can personally verify each controller settings change. Or, if you have a weekly meeting with your customer or your irrigation tech, you could subscribe to a weekly alerts report to be delivered right before your meeting so that you can have up-to-the-minute alert information to discuss the ongoing alert issues on your site. In this demonstration, I'll show you how to subscribe to a WeatherTrack report. This is a process that starts on the Reports page. Then we select what type of report we want to generate. After that, we select the specific details we want contained inside the report, like the information and the date range that we want our report to cover. Then, instead of hitting the Generate Report button, we hit the Subscribe button. And after it saves through, you'll see that the WeatherTrack system now prompts you to detail the subscription that you want set up, like create a name for the subscription and tell us when you want that information delivered, specifically what days and times you want those reports to land in your inbox. That way, if you want to schedule a report to come once a day, you can have that. Or if you want it delivered once a week, that could be your subscription. We dedicate all of the specific information that we need, and once we have outlined exactly the report that we want and when we want it, we tell the controller who should receive that report and who should be CC'd on that, what format you should have that report delivered in, either PDF or Excel, and then we hit Save. And that report will automatically come to your inbox at the subscription that you have detailed. We have also implemented features that are a result of feedback we received from you, our customer. Like previously, if you were a customer looking at your controllers online and you realized that you had accidentally left one in the off position, then you also know that with the dated firmware versions, you had to go back to the WeatherTrack controller to turn the knob back to the run position to let irrigation resume. That is no longer true. The newest firmware is necessary to take advantage of these enhancements, but if your Pro 2 controller is now running on version 6.6.4, or your Pro 3 or LC controllers are running on 7.2.0, you can change the controller status. From the Manage page of WeatherTrack.net, you can turn a controller from off to on, or take a controller out of system shutdown. Even a Pro 2 controller that's dial is in the off position can be changed. Then, the next person to stand in front of that controller will see on the display that the controller had been turned on from the website. If you need to get your firmware updated, contact customer support and they'll get you set up. Another feature enhancement that was driven by customer feedback was the need for a true second start time for user mode programs. This was needed by our users in areas where extreme water restrictions were only allowing irrigation 1 or 2 days a week. This second start time will run a station for the entire user mode program in both water windows and allow a full irrigation cycle in the morning and then another full irrigation cycle at night. So for those of you in Colorado, Florida, and Texas who had these restrictions last season and asked for these features, and we had to tell you that we would have a better solution for you in the future, this season we've found one. And now we can adhere to those restrictions that you're seeing in your parts of the country. We have also added some great new features for a group of users we call account administrators. This is a point person for an entire account who wants the authority to create user accounts for WeatherTrack.net and then assign their users to site level or controller level access to their WeatherTrack controllers. Basically, the account administration features allow an account administrator to see and authorize who has access to their WeatherTrack controllers. Contact customer support for details on how to become an account administrator. Again, as a reminder, Budget Manager, scheduled events, and all the other WeatherTrack enhancements detailed in this section are fully featured in controller firmware version 6.6.4 for Pro 2 controllers and 7.2.0 for Pro 3 and LC controllers. Contact your HydroPoint representative for full details on feature enhancements or how to get your controller firmware up to date. Up next will be Section 5.